Happy New Year, everyone! It's finally time to put 2025 in the rearview mirror. But before we do that, let's take a look at the market's overall performance in the year that was, review our monthly stats for December, and chat about what we've noticed, boots on the ground, in the first few weeks of 2026. Hello everyone, and thank you for joining me for the January 2026 edition of our Greater Vancouver Market Update. We pride ourselves on honest, factual, no fluff analysis of the housing market here in the Lower Mainland. If you enjoy this content, please hit that thumbs up button, let us know your thoughts in the comments section, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you don't miss out on any future episodes. All right, if you know me personally, you'll know that although I'm factual and a straight shooter, I'm also generally a glass half full kind of guy. Well, after reading the Greater Vancouver Realtors press release this month, I was kind of wishing that glass was half full of scotch. I mean, wow, it reads more like an obituary than a market report. The main headline, 2025 saw lowest annual sales total in over 2 decades. Yep, I'm sure this isn't the first time you've heard this, but last year was not a glamorous one for the Greater Vancouver market. And why is that? Well, market performance comes down to 2 main factors: listings or supply and sales volume or demand. Total sales last year were down by 10.4%, marking the lowest market in over 2 decades, as previously alluded to by the press release headline. This ended up being nearly 25% below the 10-year average for annual sales volume. So think of it this way: 1/4 of the market disappeared. Listings, on the other hand, went in the opposite direction. Total listings for the year were 8.2% higher than what we recorded in 2024. This total ended up being 13.1% above the 10-year average. GVR Chief Economist and VP of Data Analytics, Andrew Liss, put it this way, quote, "This year was one for the history books. Although the sales total was the lowest in over 2 decades, realtors were still busy listing properties." Tell me about it. Sellers brought the highest total of listings to market on record since the mid-1990s, eclipsing the previous record high in 2008 by a little over 1,000 listings. End quote. So there you have it. When you have supply going up by over 8% and demand going down by nearly 25%, what you end up with is a 33% negative impact on market conditions. But look, it's not like homes weren't selling in 2025. Despite all of this, there were still 23,800 total sales in the region last year versus 26,561 in 2024. So, glass half full guy here. You only need one of those 23,800 chairs when the music stops. The trick is understanding these dynamics and navigating them accordingly. All right, let's move on to the December sales numbers, which registered at 1,537 transactions. This represents a 16.7% drop from the previous month, and this is a very typical drop in activity at this time of year. Inventory also typically goes down aggressively in December as people take their properties off the market before the holidays, as well as many listing contracts expiring on December 31st. Total listings dropped to 11,410, a decrease of 24.7% from November. However, because the drop in inventory outpaced the drop in sales, the market did tighten a little bit, dropping our months of inventory from a whopping 8.2 in November to a slightly better 7.4 in December, still sitting well in buyer's market territory. And as a result, prices continued to soften, recording yet another drop by 0.8%, to an HPI benchmark price of $1,114,800. Greater Vancouver Realtors pricing model, which is referred to as the Home Price Index, started its downward trend last March, which is this data point that you see here. In that time, according to this model, prices in the region have declined by 6%. But if you talk to most honest agents, They will tell you that this is a very conservative number. In my personal opinion, depending on the property type, price point and everything, and the specific area, I've been seeing drops that have been as high as 10 to 15% over the last year. So now that I've filled your eyes and ears with buckets of positivity, what does 2026 have in store for us? Well, it's impossible to forecast the year as a whole. However, from a boots on the ground perspective, here's what I can tell you. We're essentially 2 full business weeks into the year, and we've been involved in multiple offers on the buy side. We've received offers on 2 of our listings that we've been working on since last spring, and we've been contacted by several people who are hoping to buy in the coming months. Typically, the first 2 weeks of January are extremely slow in this business, and that just hasn't been the case thus far in 2026. Now, is this a blip? Well, we'll see. Do I think the market is going to take off? No, I don't. Do I think it will stabilize and return to more balanced conditions? Yeah, I actually do. And I could be wrong about this, but I genuinely do think that the worst is behind us. There's been a lot of price discovery that has happened over the last 12 months. And I just think that things will start to level off because a lot of buyers are starting to see a lot of value again in the market. Does that mean it will be a great year for sellers? No, not necessarily, but trust me, it won't take much to make it a better year than the one that most sellers just had. All right, that's it for me for this month. Please let me know in the comments what you think will happen to the market in the year ahead, and wishing you an amazing 2026, and I'll catch you right back here in about a month's time. Take care, everyone.